Alright guys, 90 Day Challengers, this is going to be nutrition video part 1. Alright, so we're 30 days in now guys. You guys are doing fantastic. Seeing some great results. If you haven't had your measurements done yet, go ahead and try to get a time set with me to come in and do your measurements, okay? You're going to need your measurements in order to proceed with the new nutrition plan that we have in place. Okay, so in the first 30 days we were talking about quality of food. Quality of food is still important now that we're in the next 60 days, but now we're talking about the quantity. A lot of you guys are running into the issues of one or two things. Either it's a lot of food or it's not enough food. You guys are kind of feeling hungry, and then some of you guys are like, hey, certain days I feel spot on. I'm not hungry, nothing, just going about the day. So any of those 3 days, that's pretty common right now at that point. I think most people I've talked to have had a feeling of hunger at some point in time. And they've kind of adjusted some things. So we've also had a few people that have confessed that they have eaten something they're not supposed to. And hey guys, that's fine. That's understandable. The first 30 days is probably the hardest nutrition-wise because we have these cravings, because quality of the food and the macros, which we're going to talk about today, are kind of a little different than what we're used to in our body. So our body starts to actually personally make you crave things. It's typically a chemical imbalance sometimes that causes you to crave certain food items. So we're going to talk about macros today, like we talked about. We're talking about a little bit of carb cycling. We're going to talk about how to determine your caloric intake and your personal macros. Okay, so we're going to take those quantity of food or the quality of foods, and we're going to change them into quantity and adjust them per person based off of what your numbers come out to be today. Okay, so you need a couple things. You're going to need a calculator. I would definitely recommend having a piece of paper and a pencil to write some stuff down. So definitely would recommend you getting that. If you don't have that, I would go ahead and pause the video, grab a calculator, your phone, whatever that may be, write the stuff down. Okay? So give you a second to grab that real quick. Okay. So if you pause the video on your back, all right. So we do talk about using a couple things here inside the facility for helping calculate these macros. You can manually calculate macros. It's pretty easy to do, but sometimes it's just better to have it out on an app or some sort of device. So MyFitnessPal is used quite a bit by myself and a lot of people inside the facility. I'm pretty familiar with it. It's pretty easy to use. Actually, in MyFitnessPal, if you guys go into the desktop version, you can change your macros. You can't do it from your phone. Actually, you know what? I think you can now. They updated the app. But you can't change. What you can't change is it says in the app breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then just snacks. Okay. On the desktop though, you can change that to say breakfast, AM snack, lunch, PM snack, dinner, and that's what everybody should say on MyFitnessPal. That'll help you kind of understand what we're going about today when it comes to determining your macros for each particular meal. It'd be really beneficial for that. Okay, so let's just start off. What is a macro? The macro is super important. Okay, so there's a couple things on the back of a food label. Okay, it is just protein, carbs, and fat. Most people know those things. They just don't know they're called macros. So a macro, protein, carbs, and fat. Those are the main macros that we're going to focus on today. Micros are important too as well. But if you're hitting these macros and staying within the guidelines of the food list that I gave you guys, you're going to hit those micros pretty easy. Okay, so macros. Okay, so once again, carb. So C is carb, P is our protein, F is a fat. All right, so one of the biggest things when we talk about these items is a carb. Okay, so a carb, the calories that a carb yields. Okay, so calories that it yields is for every 1 carb we get 4 calories. Okay, so for every 1 gram of protein we get about 4 calories. Okay, so these two items here, if we eat a diet that's got good protein in it and decent amount of carbs, you know, there's not a whole lot of calories in there. Now, fat though, on the other hand, is 9 calories. So every 1 gram of fat, you get 9 calories. So a lot of times, that's some of the scary parts with fat. If you're eating bad fats, your calories can jump up really, really fast. Okay, and it can be really, really dangerous and not good for you. So we want to make sure that we're taking in good fats and things of that nature when we're talking about our fats. Okay. Now, granted, that's why a lot of people like protein diets, because look how many carbs. I can eat 2 grams of protein and still be at only 8 calories. Where if I eat 1 gram of fat here, okay, I'm at 9 calories. so I can actually eat a little bit more. So if you, let's say you're starving a lot of times, and you're not eating any food, if you're doing that, you're not eating actually any food, any substance, then our numbers are probably off. Okay, so we want to make sure that our numbers are on point. Okay, so basic macros there. Okay, so this is part one. All right, we got the macro idea down. All right, so carb 4, protein 4, fat yields 9 calories. Okay, that's gonna be super important here when we go to calculate our macros and our calories as well. All right, guys, look for video number 2.